Disneyland construction updates from Mr. Toad's and Peter Pan, Adventureland Treehouse, and San Francisco, plus major demo at Downtown Disney. But let's talk about these ride closures in Fantasyland first. Fantasyland is next. Last week we reported that 3 dark rides were going to be closing on June 5th, here in Fantasyland that is. Mr. Toad's, Alice in Wonderland, and Peter Pan. Since then, we have learned that we already have a reopening date. It's going to be just 10 days for 2 of those attractions to be closed. That is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and Alice in Wonderland. Those will be closed for just 10 days. They'll reopen, well, 11 days technically. They'll reopen on June 16th. However, Peter Pan will remain closed, and there is no opening date announced yet or revealed on the refurb calendar, which is where we get these dates. The refurb calendar still shows Peter Pan as being closed through June 19th. That's as far into the future as we can see on the refurb calendar as of now. So there's a couple of obvious inferences we could take from this. One is that it obviously is not a big deal, just standard routine maintenance for Toads and Alice. We could probably also assume that whatever it is that they really are working on, the key thing is perhaps Peter Pan related, and they had to close Alice and Toads because of whatever it is that they're doing on Peter Pan. So what's going on with Peter Pan, I couldn't say. Some have speculated that this was part of Disney's response to the Murphy fire, that they're looking at some of the, like on the roof, because there's a lot of fireworks that go off in this area, low-level fireworks as well, and they're probably just making sure that everything is safe in that regard. But having said that, I'm not sure you have to close those attractions to do that, nor would I think that you could open one of them and close, or I should say open 2 of them and close the other one, or leave the other one open. So I don't think, I mean, it still could be, but logically thinking, I don't think that to be the case. There's something else going on there. We'll keep our eye on the refurb calendar to see if and when Peter Pan will reopen. But even in this case, the fact that it's still closed, I still don't think this is a big deal. Certainly not anything that is show related or onboard guest facing, I should say. Could be show related, but it's not guest facing, I don't think. So it's just going to be more routine maintenance. Stay tuned for more from Fresh Baked on this, obviously, as it develops. Let's check in next on Adventureland Treehouse. Unfortunately, not a lot of observable progress this week over last. It does look like they're doing some finishing touches on some of the bamboo, the woodwork there in front of the daughter's room. But other than that, I don't really see much difference here than what we saw last week. I mean, there are crews right now working on that room, but I can't really tell what they're doing other than, applying that finish. Meanwhile, in the center structure, looks about the same as before. No progress of note there, though I can, interestingly, I can report that weird red and white thing is still there, or silver. That's still there. I don't think that's show, but it's been there now for about 3 weeks and it hasn't moved. Very curious what that is. I can't really tell through the lens. And then finally, still no sight of the Sun's room in the the top right, house right of the treehouse. Sun's room is still not there. I'm really concerned because it does feel like we're heading towards the finish line of this project, and I feel like maybe they may have just given up on that room. Oh! I should add also, I tried to get some more coverage, some more footage from the knothole areas, on the fence along the bottom, in front of the treehouse. Just a quick shout out to whoever it is at Disney that's watching this show, because the knothole that was there before has been cured. I can no longer see through that hole. So, but still not much there. I did get a couple decent looks, and you can see this last shot is right about in the area where the waterfall is or supposed to be. Still 50-50 on whether or not things going to make it. I'm really hoping. We're gonna keep checking on that to make sure. And then I can turn right around and you can see right behind me the Fantasmic stage, still behind Scrim or under Scrim. It's a tent now. Well, I guess it was a tent before, because if you were to ride the Mark Twain, you would have seen the Scrim go over it. But now it's up more. It's more tent-like than it was during our last update, which suggests that they have brought in some new equipment perhaps to try to cure whatever it is that's going on there with the Murphy stage area. It's not looking great. There was hope that they might be open by last week for a B mode. Then there was May 14th. The website seemed to be updated that May 14th might be a possible return. That's not going to happen either. It's now sounding like at least May is my guess, through May I should say, and into the summer, and it could be worse than that. There's a lot of damage to not just the Murphy, but to the entire apparatus that raises and lowers the Dragon. So this could be a lengthy time before we see him again. So whatever it is that they're doing underneath that tent now is taking a little bit of time. Now that's either that's either Murphy raised up a little bit, or like I said, it's more equipment that's been brought in order to fix whatever it is, or even just to undo, to take apart, to tear down whatever it is that is left behind after, in the aftermath of the Murphy fire.
Look at the picture. Yeah, it's like
Let's get back on that monorail check-in on the Matterhorn and Downtown Disney construction. Woo! Are you driving? All right, so my co-host said, well, while we're at the monorail, checking on the Matterhorn at Downtown Disney, let's go ride Downtown. So we did. Not a lot to report on the Matterhorn. Obviously, we're about 2 weeks away from the reopening. Nothing new has happened or developed on the ground, and I'm still seeing the same smattering of, people working on the exteriors. While Sophie is trying to drive straight, she's doing a great job. You're doing great, honey. Man, it's a red car brigade out here. Holy heck. As for Downtown Disney and the dirt lot, man, things are going fast there, it looks like. We're finally starting to see some rapid progress. Lots more definition on the ground. We can see crews at work making this thing, getting it ready for vertical. Those defined spaces are starting to really look, well, more defined, which tells me that they're very close to putting up forms, I would think. Foundation is getting prepared. Man, it's gonna be happening any trip now. Now, last week I thought that this forward section, the near section, was retail, but now I'm reversing that. I think that might actually be the stage. If I look at that concept art again, I feel like that might be the stage there for the band. And then to its right still would be the grassy area. And also, one thing I didn't report on last week but noticed was that it looks like they pushed the walls out a little further out into the path, the Downtown Disney path. So that corridor's gotten quite a bit more narrow. So they're now pushing construction out another, 10 or 15 feet from its previous boundary. Guys, more than a little bit has happened at Pacific Wharf / San Francisco since we were here just a week ago. For starters, all the scrim and scaffolding is gone from the right half of the exteriors of the Pacific Wharf The left half still has a little bit of scaffolding left on there, but they've also taken everything on the top half down there. They have revealed that the Pacific Wharf Canning Company is now the San Francisco Square Canning Company. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but there's a cat. Lucky cat. We can see it certainly a lot better than we could last time because it was behind scaffolding before, I believe. I didn't notice this before, but the Wharfside Travel Agency appears to be sponsored by Baymax? Is he endorsing the Wharfside Travel Agency? Because that is his silhouette. Still not a word on what San Francisco is the proud home of. Some subtle changes to the Pacific Wharf Bodine Bakery Tour building. You can see that they've added some Japanese symbols here, characters. I can also say that from the concept art that I've seen, you can expect changes at the actual sign up front and on the silo above it. This is just kind of here in the corner along the side of the building. Do not enter. As you go up further, the entire side of the bakery tour building is behind walls, and now they've added some scaffolding. This is all brand new. And I believe, as a matter of fact, Disneyland News Today posted a photo. There's another piece of, Japanese characters here that indicate an arrow saying where the bakery tour was or is going to be, which obviously suggests that the bakery tour will not be, it's going to stay. The whole thing is going to remain untouched, pretty much. But I would imagine now, looking at the scaffolding, for example, the Salton Sea Packing Company sign, that's going to probably be taken down and replaced by another sign. In fact, expect anything that references Pacific Wharf to get a change. That'll get a new sign as well, probably something like, for the Lucky Cat Cafe, but anything that references Pacific Wharf will come down and get replaced by another San Francisco themed signage. I'm trying to remember if that pipe extruding from the top of the Lucky Fortune cookery, which is right there to your left, that's over the restroom. I'm trying to recall if that was there before, because now they've got scaffolding around that. I don't know if they're going to be doing something to it or if they're installing it. I'm inclined to think the latter. The former. I want to say it was there before, but it looks kind of new and fresh. But then why would they install it? What's the point of putting in that pipe? I have no idea. And by that I mean, why do that? Because they did so little. They're doing so little to this space in terms of actual changes. Why then go ahead and do that? If you're going to do, of all the things that you could do, why add a pipe? I don't know. I had to go look back and see if I've got any old footage, which I probably don't, because I've had no reason to shoot that building, ever. None. Still waiting for them to install the lid to this bridge. I would imagine they're probably going to wait until the last minute, perhaps, because they're supposed to open this place up in the summer. Maybe that's about when they might install that. Also still waiting for them to install the signage, the San Francisco, the neon sign that's going to go right down here, waiting for that to happen. I have nothing to report from Little Mermaid. It's closing on the 5th and reopening on the 16th, but Sophia wanted to go ride and see Ariel. So that's what we're doing. You might have noticed on the way in here to downtown Disney, the location formerly known as the Uba Bar is, for all intents and purposes, gone. From the ground even, you could tell that they've taken out that centerpiece, or most of it. All that remains is basically the core of that piece. Reminds me of quite a bit of the AMC building destruction and the Earl of Sandwich. We've also got a photo from Ballast Point, which shows, and look down below, and you can see clearly that they have demoed everything around that center, the base area there. So this is going to be a complete rebuild, for whatever it winds up being here. In fact, it would not surprise me at all to see that it's no longer even centrally located as Uva Bar was. It's possible. A friend had suggested that what's likely, or what could happen, is that they could attach Centrico to Paseo. You'll note that back in the Catal Uva Bar days, they had one kitchen, and that was the kitchen was in the Catal restaurant. So you had to hustle all the orders, all the food orders out here to to the Uva Bar, and you had to cross that walkway. You had to pass through a bunch of guests. What if they, that's not good. That's not ideal. So what if they connect those two in some way so that bringing, because they're going to keep it the same way, one kitchen for both locations. There will be no kitchen out here. But what if they can build it in such a way that, bringing food to the guest does not require cast to cross that, make a crosswalk of the pedestrian path. Whether that means a direct connection or some sort of, dumbwaiter system that goes underground, hard to say. We're going to hope to get more photos from the Ballast Point, level to see how that goes, to see if we can find any definition, any way to confirm if that's what's happening. Meanwhile, over at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen, since our last visit here, where we saw one of the more depressing sights that I've ever seen at a dining location, a Disney dining location, not much change. Not a lot has changed. There's no new theming in the the downstairs dining areas, neither on the the patios or inside the where the fountain used to be. Still looks the same, completely unthemed or unfinished. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. There's nothing in there. It's just kind of empty-ish looking. Tables and chairs, and that's it. They have added some new neon. Beignets Expressed is now what they're calling this location, the Beignets Expressed. They got a new sign out there and a new neon sign, 2 new signs. Don't worry that the neon doesn't flicker. It only flickers on camera. It doesn't flicker to the naked eye, so it's okay there. They have reopened their temporary beignet station. They are still planning to sell beignets at the old location there to its left. We'll come back in a week to see if there's anything else. I'm desperate for some kind of sign that's not all there is. Let's talk next about the home store, Wonderground, and what's going on that second floor over there at Paseo. The top above Wonderground, I can't tell what's happening there because they blocked up the windows. I think it's either some kind of, I'm not sure what that is, but it does look like they've set up some kind of rail along the windows, so that does suggest to me that could be seating. They might be planning on putting some seating above the Wonderground. Otherwise, it's probably some other auxiliary purpose, some storage or something like that. But it seems unlikely that they would go through all that trouble to redevelop, revamp the Wonderground and home stores just so they could create storage. So my guess is that's going to be additional seating above there. Hey, how's it going? Meanwhile, the second floor, the upper part over Love Pop and the Pele store, you may or may not be able to see the crews actively working. It's very hard. I could not see anything through the lens, and very difficult to see with the naked eye as well on the ground. It's so bright out here today. But you may be able to see crews there through the window working as we speak. They're definitely upgrading the second floor of the Catal restaurant. No, I see no visible work being done though at the Sprinkles. They need to remove that front facade there first, I think, or second. I'm not sure when they would do that. But you can't see that center window there. It looks like they have removed it. It looks removed as I look at it now. This one, right? I want to say that one right there. That looks like they've completely taken out the window, if I'm not mistaken. I got a closer look. I can't see anything. Okay, so this could be the extent of this update. If there's more, I'll do some voiceover. If I see anything in post, I'll mention it. now. Otherwise, let's go to the DVC Tower at the Disneyland Hotel. Disneyland Hotel and the DVC Towers, they look to be just about done, I would say. Now, they look, actually, when I look at it like this, they look pretty nice. It's not too bad. It's a pretty decent design. I like the color scheme and all that. But when they took down all that scrim and all that scaffolding and we got a full, good look at the facade for this hotel, it laid bare the obvious differences between, there's now 4 towers here. And they make like a full square. but the DVC Tower looks nothing like, in terms of its color palette, looks nothing like the Adventureland or the Fantasy Tower or the Frontier Tower. They all have the same appearance. This one looks, I don't know why they did that, but it looks kind of awkward and weird to me now. By itself, in a vacuum, the Disneyland DVC Tower looks pretty cool. But next to the other ones, it's a different ball game. I got a closer look at those deluxe villas on the far left, and apparently they're working on something over there on the side. I think that's just a decorative element. You can see this in the concept art, whatever it is that they're doing here. I believe that's what they're installing here. So it's just sort of a decorative themed element to the side of the building. It serves no purpose other than to look good. They are still, you can kind of see the scaffolding, etc. They are still working on the opposite side, the back side, the Walnut Street facing side. The suites that I don't know who is going to book those, because you get a lovely view of the Walnut Street apartments, which is not luxury at all. So I'm curious how they're going to fill those suites. I'm almost tempted to want to stay in one just to find out what that's like. Hopefully it's better looking than it appears from the concept art and that little schematic that we saw 100 years ago, the 3D model. And that's our Disneyland construction update for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned to Fresh Baked for more as we do these every week. And until next time, be safe, be kind, and fresh baked.